Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to break down the 6 most overrated motorcycles that simply don't live up to the hype in 2026. Number 6, BMW R18. The BMW R18 is one of those bikes that attracts attention mainly because of its badge and the massive engine sitting beneath it. Packing an 1,800cc boxer motor, it looks impressive on a spec sheet, but the real-world experience doesn't quite earn the praise or justify the steep price. In 2026, the starting price hovers around $20,000, and once you add the accessories most buyers consider essential, the cost easily pushes beyond $22,000. Despite producing around 91 horsepower and 116 pound-feet of torque, the engine feels slow and heavy in daily riding. The bike's enormous weight, roughly 1,400 pounds, along with its long wheelbase, makes city maneuvering awkward and cornering sluggish. Fuel economy sits near 38 miles per gallon, which is acceptable for the class, but with fuel prices approaching $4 per gallon in the US, costs add up quickly. Maintenance isn't cheap either, with routine services often landing between $300 and $400, while replacement parts can climb even higher due to BMW's premium pricing. In 2026, the BMW R18 feels more like a branding exercise built for attention than a bike offering true riding value, making the hype and price difficult to justify. Number 5, Honda CB650R. The Honda CB650R is frequently seen as the safe benchmark in the middleweight category, yet in 2026 it feels overrated for the money it demands. The base price sits close to $9,500. And once taxes, registration, and dealer fees are included, most riders are realistically spending $11,000 or more. At that price point, buyers expect strong everyday performance and modern features. However, the CB650R struggles to deliver enough value. Its 649cc inline-4 engine produces around 94 horsepower, and while the top-end pull is respectable, the way the power comes on is the real issue. Low and mid-range torque feel lacking, meaning the bike only comes alive when pushed hard. What really hurts the CB650R in 2026 is its value proposition. At this price, riders expect advanced electronics, multiple ride modes, or even cruise control, yet the bike feels basic next to newer competitors. It often feels like you're paying more for the Honda name than for meaningful upgrades. In 2026, the CB650R asks premium money for an experience that feels average, earning its place as one of the most overrated bikes in its segment. Number 4, Indian Scout Bobber. The Indian Scout Bobber is commonly marketed as a raw, aggressive cruiser with attitude, but in 2026 it feels overrated for what it actually offers. Prices start around $13,500, and after dealer fees and basic accessories, most buyers are looking at nearly $15,000. At that level, expectations are understandably high. Unfortunately, once the initial excitement fades, the Scout Bobber doesn't fully live up to its reputation. The 1,133cc V-twin produces about 100 horsepower, which sounds strong, but real-world performance tells a different story. Low-speed power delivery can feel abrupt and less refined, especially in traffic. Fuel economy averages roughly 40 miles per gallon, which becomes expensive with fuel prices sitting near $4 per gallon nationwide. Comfort is another area where disappointment sets in. The stiff suspension and minimal seat padding make longer rides exhausting, turning what should be a laid-back cruiser into a short-distance machine. In 2026, the Indian Scout Bobber demands serious money, but delivers an experience that leans more toward image than comfort or value, making it another bike that doesn't live up to the hype. Number 3, Harley-Davidson Sportster S. The Harley-Davidson Sportster S is promoted as a bold evolution of the brand, yet in 2026 it feels overrated for its price, starting around $15,000 and climbing closer to $17,000 once dealer markups and basic extras are included. Expectations are sky high. However, the ownership experience doesn't quite match the buzz. The 1,250cc liquid-cooled V-twin produces about 121 horsepower, which sounds impressive, but much of that power isn't as usable as it should be. Throttle response can be abrupt, particularly at low speeds, making city riding more tiring than enjoyable. Fuel economy averages around 48 miles per gallon, but with premium fuel hovering near $5 per gallon in many U.S. states, operating costs rise quickly. Maintenance adds another layer of expense, with service visits often ranging from $350 to $500, and Harley-specific parts rarely come cheap. Insurance costs also tend to be higher due to the performance-focused setup. Comfort is a major drawback as well. The low seat height combined with rear-set foot controls creates a cramped riding position for taller riders, while the firm suspension makes rough roads unpleasant. In 2026, the Sportster S feels like a bike chasing attention through big numbers, but once the excitement fades, the high price and everyday compromises make it hard to justify. Number 2. Triumph Bonneville Bobber. The Triumph Bonneville Bobber carries a premium image and a strong heritage name, but in 2026 it feels overrated when you look beyond appearances. Prices start near $13,000, and with dealer fees and basic add-ons, most buyers end up paying close to $15,000. For that kind of investment, expectations are high, yet the riding experience feels more limited than special. The 1,200cc parallel twin produces around 77 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque, which is fine for relaxed cruising, but the performance doesn't quite match the premium price tag. Fuel economy averages about 45 miles per gallon, but ownership costs remain elevated. Routine service often falls between $300 and $450, and Triumph's parts pricing doesn't help long-term value. Insurance can also be higher than expected for a bike that isn't particularly fast. Comfort is where many riders begin to regret the purchase. The single-seat design, limited suspension travel, and low handlebars make longer rides uncomfortable. It's a motorcycle that looks fantastic parked, but quickly becomes tiring on extended rides. In 2026, the Bonneville Bobber feels built to impress visually, but the numbers, comfort limitations, and high cost make it another overrated option. Number 1. Kawasaki Eliminator. The Kawasaki Eliminator is often praised as a fresh entry-level cruiser, but in 2026 the hype feels exaggerated once you examine the details. Pricing begins around $6,600, and after taxes and dealer fees, most buyers are paying closer to $8,000. That places it in an awkward position where it's no longer cheap enough to excuse its shortcomings, yet it doesn't offer enough performance to truly satisfy. The 451cc parallel twin engine produces about 45 horsepower, which explains much of the issue. Acceleration is modest, highway passing requires planning, and the bike feels strained once speeds climb beyond 70 miles per hour. Riders expecting a relaxed cruiser capable of longer trips quickly find it underpowered. Long-term value is another concern. While maintenance may be affordable initially, many owners outgrow the bike quickly, making the purchase feel short-lived. Resale value also suffers as demand drops once riders recognize its limitations. Comfort is acceptable for short rides, but vibration becomes noticeable at higher speeds, and the lack of power makes highway riding more tiring than relaxing. In 2026, the Eliminator is sold on simplicity and image, but its low output and weak long-term appeal make it overrated once the excitement fades. And with that, we've reached the end of today's video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more upcoming content.